Hi, good evening. Can I have your introduction first and then we can start and proceed to the session?
Okay, sure. My
All
name
right.
is Subhash Pal, and I live in Guwahati in the state of Assam. And I am interested to learn spoken English, and that's why I'm here for practice. And my hobby is only learning spoken English at the moment, you can say. So that's what I'm doing nowadays. So, what about you?
Okay, so my name is Vaishali, as the dashboard reflects, and I am an English tutor. Also, along with that, I am interested in tutoring and mentoring children for various disciplines. And currently, I'm located in Chandigarh, and I'm working as a middle school educator.
Okay, nice to know that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, sir. We already have given the introduction about each other. Since you were
Mhm.
already telling me that this is not a cup of tea, let's talk. Let's not talk about Hollywood. Which
Yeah.
topic would you want to proceed with?
Let's see what topics you give me, then I will try to speak on that.
All right, so let's just start with the spoken English only, since you have already mentioned about your hobby. How
Yeah.
come you just want to proceed with this as a hobby, and what are the skills you're looking forward to? Along with that, could you please tell me any experience which made you to take a step towards perfecting your English skills? One, and of course, you to join this course.
In the past, not now, but in the past, it so happened that there are some occasions that I found that the people around me are speaking in English, but I could not contribute in their discussion because of my lack of speaking ability. Even though I knew the answers, I knew what they were speaking about, but I could not chip in the discussion. That was one thing that was my weakness, and I wanted to convert my weakness into a strength.
Okay, that's it for now.
Yes.
All right, that's wonderful. And yes, you have embarked upon a marvelous journey where you are trying to perfect not only your spoken English, but as a person. I must say that communication is something everyone must learn a skill about. And to be
Yes.
honest, if you're not able to express the ideas, be it any language, the barrier always strikes there itself. And when it comes to the language, English, which is, of course, international language only, and like you have mentioned, that to you, people who speak English comes up very smart and crisp personality.
Yes.
Am I speaking right?
Yeah, yeah, right, right.
All right. So when I pick that point, can you please elaborate a bit about what comes to you as a smart personality?
Smart personality, it is not only about speaking a language actually, because I had the idea where, and not only me, but most of the Indian people think that when somebody speak in English, they are very smart. This is in our mind actually, because it is nothing but a language. And when we make mistake while speaking our local language, we don't bother about that. We just speak. But when it comes to English, we think and we think, oh, I may be making some mistakes. The other people may think they may judge us. So this is all about mindset, I think. And when I talk, I said that it is about when I see the people, they look very smart. Yeah, it's the gesture, the how they speak. When we speak English, it is not only that I just say some lines and statements. It is not that. The posture, the way the people shrug their shoulders, all these things counts actually. So that's how it makes a very stylish language when the people speak.
Oh, that's great. So, if you have mentioned that people who are speaking any language, be it Hindi, English, Punjabi, Assami, or any language, even if I would talk about English, it's all about the gesture. And let me tell you, sir, you forgot to mention confidence. When it comes to speaking any language, confidence is something which must be from the inside. And when I
Yes.
talk about any language, let's just talk about the gestures. And you just mentioned that there is some body language which they carry with themselves, and it comes up as a spark to their personality. Could you please tell me what kind of body language have you seen or observed in people belonging to different backgrounds and, of course, the language they're using?
Yeah, the only thing that I watch that when speaking the hand gestures and particularly English language, they always I have seen particularly the native speakers when they speak, they shrug their shoulders. So these are the gestures that I was mentioning.
Okay, that's great. And like you've mentioned, the language is just not about English. We are not going to talk just about English. We are not going to restrict to this one language, but rather, when it comes to our local language, you have rightly put across your word that it's just in the mindset. So I think that solution came to you. And when I talk about the gestures, what I feel is when a person is trying to convince other person that the language he or she is holding as a perfection might not be something he or she is perfect in, because the gestures is something we put only to provide a perfection to the language, only to come across as a person that we are finesse, you know. So that is
Yeah.
something a person is trying to look forward to. And yes, the local language we speak, we do blunder of mistakes while speaking. Have you ever used jargons or any different vocabulary while you're speaking?
No, frankly speaking, is that in our locality we hardly get a person to speak with in English. So this is why I have resorted to this opportunity. I have got that I can speak with people on YouTube. I mean, sorry, on Skype or this some platforms. So there was no such things happen, let alone using jargon. Even the simple things I did not have the opportunity to speak with. Even now also, I don't get any person to speak with.
All right. That's why you have chosen this platform to practice and learn English daily. Oh, that's great. Let me just give you a quick tip. My mentors have always given me this quick tip. Let me just give you that very secret point to success where you can become a very proficient speaker. So, when it comes to reading, reading
Yeah.
is something a person must do. So, before sleeping, make it something as a point you need to follow religiously, where you are at least reading one page before sleeping. And you have to make it one habit daily to be followed. Okay?
Here I want to tell you that I have already made it a habit,
Oh,
and
that's great.
yeah,
That's
so
wonderful.
I have made it a point that every day I should read minimum 3 to 4 pages,
Wonderful.
and this has helped me to develop a habit also because earlier I did not like to read. But when I started reading little by little, now I have made it a habit. And sometimes it so happened that if I could not read a few pages on a particular day, I feel something I am missing. So this
Missing.
has happened. And in the same time, I have read so many books of self-help books. So it helped me. It is all these books are helping me in learning English at the same time helping me to develop my personality also. There are some changes I have seen in me before reading this book, what I was and what I have changed myself, transformed myself after reading this book. So all these things happen in a positive way.
That's very marvelous to know, to be honest, because people these days are not used to the hard copies and they usually go for these soft copies. But let me tell you one thing, hard copies have another flavor to add into your
Yes,
life, and of course,
definitely.
personal.
Definitely.
True
I
that.
don't like reading this ebook. I like to read hard copies.
That's very good to know from you. And next, moving on to something which is really important. Please let me know that if I'm wrong somewhere. Are you watching the videos with the CCs, that is captions on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes.
Okay. Okay. So what
Yeah.
you have to do is for 1 week, you have to keep that captions on video for the same video. You for the next week, you have to remove that option or edit that settings without caption. So just watch
Okay.
that video without caption and try to absorb as many words as they are speaking. Do not
Yeah.
look up
Right.
to the lip movement, rather, just try to focus on the words. So you just have to listen. Third thing I
Yeah.
can advise you is podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast is something which can make an amazing change in the lives of the people. Trust me when I say this. Because when
Okay.
I was a beginner, or let's say an intermediate learner for English language, I started with a podcast and it has amazingly changed my life. Not only for language, but for personality development as well. Fourth
Mm.
thing you must follow, that is, of course, practice and practice and practice more. So just take up a topic and just try to practice that. What if I become a TEDx speaker one day and I have to
Okay.
share something? Let's say
Yeah.
I have to share something over a very basic skill. How am I going to do that? Try to read more of quotations. And when it comes to idioms, so please do not follow idioms for now. One idiom once a day is fine. But we as English speakers, we must focus on British English. And when I talk about idioms and other slangs, these are basically followed in American English. And American English is somehow is not acceptable worldwide. So English has its roots from British,
Yeah.
the Britain, right? So when it
Yes.
comes to English, please follow the British English more and try to watch the video. When they speak in a way, you will understand what is the major difference between the speakers who are native to that region and the speakers who are not native. So you will
Yeah.
be able to mark the difference.
Yes. Right.
And also try to listen to the speakers who are not really fast. The pace should be slow because you are still learning the language and you have to
Yeah.
formulate the idea in your brain and something has to be absorbed.
Yes.
These are a little easy to understand. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was really wonderful to understand that you have been thinking analytically to certain situations and scenarios. And of course, you have deeply embedded that into your system and you're following the religious pattern of reading the books and, of course, whatever intellectual skills they have been giving it to you. And I'm really surprised by the efforts you are doing for yourself in terms of reading. And of course, the personality grooming is happening bit by bit, and you are going to see that in just few months, I must regard, because
Yeah.
some change cannot be made overnight. We need to
Yeah.
work towards achieving the
Yeah.
goal, and of course, there's no shortcut. So
Yeah.
now time is at the end of the conversation. I really like to address my students as a feedback. So would you like to hear the feedback, sir?
Yeah. Sure. Definitely. I would love that.
All right. So when it comes to speaking, try to focus on the eyes of the speaker. Do
Yeah.
not evade from the screen, or let's suppose if there is some person in person interaction, just try to focus there. You don't need to focus
Yes.
on the gestures they are making. That should not impact you. I
Mm-hmm.
think that you must have heard of this word shunya. You have to look into the zero when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to a person because their expressions might would affect your mind. First come first, it just mind should be clear. Second,
Yeah.
look confident in the eyes of the person who we are talking to. Third, when you're talking, like I've mentioned the first point, these are correlated to each other. When you're clear with your mind, you know what next is going to be spoken from your end. So when you have your mind is clear, you know what to speak, you will not putting up any kind of halts or pauses while you are conversating to anyone. So that always makes a person as a proficient speaker, or the
Yeah.
conversations work very smoothly. When you're not clear here, be it any language, you are not able to express the idea to the recipient, or let's
Yeah.
say the receiver. So when I
Yeah.
talk about the other scenarios, you can also use certain adverbs. So just try to look for
Mm.
certain adverbs. Adverbs are really good to put as a form of conjunction as well. So they serve as a right method to fill that gaps. So adverbs, okay. Let me just rephrase all the points. Clear your
Hmm.
mind, think
Yeah.
for what you have to speak next, and be ready with another point. So you must
Mm.
be able to weave a story in your head so that there comes another situation in your mind which could be able to mark that pause with a statement. Third
Yeah.
thing, also you have to use adverbs which can help you in eradicating or omitting those pauses. Fourth, you have to look into the eyes of the person so that you come up as a very confident person. Along with that, if you are not clear with something, you could put a pause in a way that comes out very smoothly. When I don't
Hmm.
know what should be spoken next, I slower my pace so that my mind can think what should be spoken next. I have tried this technique. You can also try that in your conversation, and it definitely comes up as a very graceful speaker. That's what you have seen in the people. That is the
Yes.
only catch about the language. When you don't know what should be spoken next, just give it a pause by slowing down your pace. You don't have to make the pause very obvious while you're speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the points as a feedback I'm sharing, and I hope that you will be joining the session again. I'll be opening the slots again, and if by any chance we get an opportunity to have a conversation, I am going to ask you about one book. Let's just start with one book. The book you're already reading. We are going to discuss about what you just read, so that you will be in continuation with what you have read, and there will be certain thoughts in your mind so that there is no distortion and clear thoughts.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
And
Sure.
at some point of time, I'm going to give you some impromptu topics, and then you have to speak and try to weave a story. Language beat any language, I would rather say. You have to just weave a story. You must know how to weave the story and be a graceful speaker. Graceful speakers do not have a gesture thing in their language or while the conversation, but rather what they do is they use certain set of words to make the receiver or the listener an impactful decision maker as well. That they can decide upon what speaker is already trying to speak.
Yeah. Right.
Are you getting me?
Yeah, yeah. I've
All
got you.
right. So
Yeah.
I think all the points have been taken into consideration.
Yeah.
So,
I
all
just
right.
want to know one thing. As you just mentioned that we can make some sentences using this adverb to
Yes.
just instead of saying fillers, isn't it? So just one line, can you give as an example so that?
Okay. So when you said that, also I want to add, instead of using also I want to add, you can use the
Mhm.
word moreover, additionally.
More.
So
Yes,
these
yes.
surprisingly, it came to
Hmm.
me as so these words
Hmm.
always make a person an efficient speaker, and this always gives an impact on the recipient or let's say the listener that this person is trying super well and he's super smooth while speaking. So when
Yeah.
these words come into play, you come up as a very smooth speaker, and that's all the language is about.
Okay, thank you. So this is the first time that I have been told by a tutor this tactic. So I will definitely try to follow this one.
Please
Yes.
surely do that. And I am sure about one thing that if you will use it, you will never get a complaint from my end. From my end, it's a very clear go. So please try
Yeah.
to use it more often in your conversation, and I'm sure you will be doing a marvelous job for yourself.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
All
much
right.
for the tips.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much. Good night. Have a
Good
great
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.